We navigated so many unknowns, at least in my time within J&J across Ethicon, Verb, Oris, moving into systems engineering, trying to constrain these things. Like you mentioned, ground truth. The reality is we didn't know our ground truth in many ways. We were still trying to headhunt and acquire people that had done this before. Systems engineering capability, we're like building it as we're building a system, trying to bring in folks from automotive and other spaces. And I think a lot of times we were arguing off of semantics because we didn't know even what data was necessary. You talked about completing the loop that was brought up so many times. Well, how much loop could be completed by a clinician? How do you baseline that? Are we baselining it off of just testing on our competitor? Because we don't have a robot to figure that number out with, and we don't have all their data. So I think it's an area where those escalations are so challenging when a business is moving into a new unknown space and trying to innovate, especially when culturally, I always forget his last name. Your friend Joe Mullins, I think it's last. Yeah. Thank you. I've listened to him quite a few times. Like within J&J culturally, we communicate that we are an innovative business. Externally, we hear these semantics that these big strategics can't innovate. They have to acquire in order to enter new markets. And I saw so many engineers with projects and innovations underneath their desks that they'd work on in the shadows, and they try to bring it to light of day. And if it doesn't fit our perfect commercial cadence, and you're always sending stuff to the graveyard because you're more focused on how do you get through design verification on a product that fits within the perfect scope. It's iterative typically, as opposed to transformative. And if you want to be transformative, you have to go out and acquire or do build to buy. But there's this big cultural mismatch because I think, at least for us engineers navigating college, we want to create and build. And then we enter a large corporate like that has the cash flow, but not necessarily the appetite for those risks.